We shall remain standing as I invite Mr. Isaac Nsamfo to do us the honors with the opening prayer.
We thank you, our dear Lord, for your grace and mercy. We thank you for our lives. We thank you for protection. We thank you for the traveling mercies you have shadowed on us. Jesus, we commit this conference into your hands, every detail of it. We pray that take absolute control and lead us, help us to achieve our goal. We believe that the outcome of this conference will benefit individuals here, our institutions, and society. Protect us and help us to have this come true. This is what we ask in your name. Amen.
We'll sing the UCC anthem. Kindly take your seats. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, once again. Towards providing a platform for postgraduate students, researchers, and industry professionals to exchange knowledge, foster collaboration, and share innovative solutions that would enhance community resilience and development in Africa, we are this morning gathered here for the 5th International Conference of Postgraduate Studies. It is on the theme, Transforming Communities, Postgraduate Education and Research for Resilience and Development in Africa. My name is Akosua Chiabiasaki. I work with the Directorate of Public Affairs, and I'm pleased to be your MC. Permit me to introduce our chair for this morning. Our chair is a pharmacist and biomedical scientist who once served as provost of the College of Health and Allied Sciences after serving a 3-year term as dean of the School of Biological Sciences, all in UCC. His research interests cover multidisciplinary areas, including parasitic disease, drug-resistant parasites, drug discovery, and targeted drug delivery. Our chair is grounded in the belief that universities should serve as engines of economic growth and development by building the mindset of students and creating the environment where students will be able to practice what they learn. Our chair is the Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast and also Chairperson of Vice Chancellors Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, help me acknowledge and welcome Professor Johnson Nyako Boampong.
Thank you for the introduction. I accept to chair this function, and with the support of the able men gathered here, especially at the head table or the podium, we'll be able to set affairs of this program successfully. The Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, the Registrar, the Director General of Ghana Education Service or the representative, Director General of Ghana Tertiary Education Commission or the representative, country representative of UNICEF, the representative of British High Commissioner, Honorable MP, Cape Coast North, and Honorable MP, Cape Coast South, or their representatives. Colleague Vice Chancellors of sister universities present, former Vice Chancellor in the person of Professor Joseph Gatampia, our distinguished invited keynote speaker, provosts, deans, directors of academic and administrative units present, faculty members and researchers, industry and policy representatives, postgraduate students and scholars here in present. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. It is an immense pleasure and a profound honor to welcome you all to the 5th International Conference of Postgraduate Students, organized by the School of Graduate Studies at the University of Cape Coast, the University of Competitive Choice. Today, we stand on the precipice of discovery, innovation, and transformation, gathered here not just as individuals, but as a collective force committed to shaping the future of postgraduate research in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take a moment to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the dedicated organizing committee, our distinguished speakers, and each one of you present here today. Your unwavering commitment to research and academic excellence is not only commendable, but also the driving force behind Africa's journey towards a brighter, knowledge-driven future. This conference is more than an academic gathering. It is a convergence of intellect, passion, and purpose. It is a space where ideas are exchanged, innovative solutions are explored, and networks are built. Networks that transcend institutional and national boundaries to foster collaboration that will define the next frontiers of research on the continent. Our theme this year, transforming communities, postgraduate education and research for resilience and development in Africa. It's both timely and imperative. It highlights the pivotal role of postgraduate education in equipping scholars with the knowledge, skills, and competencies necessary to drive societal change. We are at a crucial moment in history, one characterized by rapid technological advancements, climate challenges, economic uncertainties, and evolving public health crisis. In the face of these global challenges, ladies and gentlemen, resilience and sustainable development must be the guiding principles of research across the continent. Our response must be bold, innovative, and tailored to the realities of our people. The University of Cape Coast has long been a beacon of academic excellence and impactful research. As a proud member of the African Research Universities Alliance, ARUA, and the top-ranked university in Ghana and West Africa, as recognized by the Times Higher Education World University Ranking, we remain steadfast in our commitment to supporting postgraduate research that offers practical solutions to real-world problems. This year's conference has been meticulously designed to achieve several key objectives. First, it provides postgraduate students with a platform to present their research and receive constructive feedback from peers and experts. Secondly, it fosters interdisciplinary collaboration, bringing together scholars from diverse fields to tackle pressing challenges. Furthermore, it allows us to explore emerging trends, challenges, and opportunities in postgraduate education and research. In addition, it seeks to build a strong linkages between academia, industry, and policymakers, ensuring that research findings are not confined to journals, but are translated into policies and innovations that drive national and continental development. Finally, through workshop on academic writing, publications, and advanced research methodologies, we are empowering postgraduate students with the tools necessary for academic and professional excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, over the next few days, our discussions will be framed around 6 key sub-themes, carefully selected to align with African developmental priorities and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. These sub-themes include 1, education studies, 2, business and economics, 3, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, in short, STEM. 4, social sciences, humanities, and law. 5, health and medical sciences. And finally, 6, environment, climate change, and agriculture. These sub-themes reflect our commitment to addressing critical issues such as quality education, that is SDG 4, health and well-being, SDG 3, and then climate action, SDG 13. However, let us be clear that postgraduate research must not remain theoretical. It must be solution-driven, contextually relevant, and deeply rooted in the needs of our communities. In education studies, research must drive policies that enhance learning outcomes and foster lifelong education. In health sciences, postgraduate research must contribute to the development of locally applicable interventions for diseases like malaria, sickle cell, and emerging pandemics. In business and economics, researchers must lead the way in crafting data-driven strategies for economic resilience and industrial growth. In STEM fields, innovation in technology and engineering must be harnessed to address infrastructure deficits and drive productivity. In environmental science, research must illuminate pathways for climate change adaptation, safeguarding agriculture and natural resources for future generations. As we embark on this transformative journey over the next 3 days, I urge every participant to seize this opportunity, engage actively in panel discussions, workshops, and presentations. Especially to the postgraduate students, seek mentorship and guidance from esteemed scholars and faculty. Build meaningful collaboration that extend beyond the walls of this conference. Challenge conventional thinking, push boundaries, and explore new frontiers of knowledge. Let your research drive the change that Africans so desperately needs. To our postgraduate students, you are the torchbearers of Africa's academic future. The solutions to our continent's challenges will not come from elsewhere. They will come from you. Let your research be your voice. Let your findings be the blueprint for change. Let your dedication to knowledge and the foundations of African progress. So let your dedication to knowledge be the foundations of African's progress. The time to act is now. Once again, I extend my deepest appreciation to the organizing team for their tireless efforts in making this conference a reality. I have no doubt that the discussions, insights, and collaborations forged here will make a lasting impact on postgraduate education and research in Africa. With great pride and optimism, I now declare the 5th International Conference for Postgraduate Students officially opened. Thank you, and I wish you all well and successful conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Chair. Another round of applause for our chair. Prof. Chair, kindly permit me to ask the ushers to help us move our participants to occupy the empty front seats. This is for purposes of our photos, so that it doesn't appear like there was nobody in the room. Please occupy, at least I think for the first row, the first 2 rows, they're exempted, but then for the other ones, kindly ensure that they are occupied. We can do this quickly whilst we invite the Department of Music to give us a musical interlude. Let's kindly occupy the seats in front of us. If there's any seat in front of you, kindly move and occupy that seat. Right, we'll take a musical interlude from the Department of Music.
Good morning. My name is Mercy Achiano, and I'll be accompanied by Mr. Benedict Tvucc. So today's song is titled Akwa Banjo, which is a song that was written by Ephraim Mamu, the father of Ghanaian art music. And he wrote this song to extol the forefathers for their sacrifice they made for us. And today's song is, I'm singing today's song to welcome everybody, especially those who are visiting Ghana for the first time. So if you hear Akwaba, it means welcome. Thank you.
Akunya
Thank you very much, Mercy Achianu. The applause could be better for the Department of Music. Ladies and gentlemen, to introduce our keynoter for this morning, I would ask that you help me welcome the Deputy Director for Tvucc, also the Chair for the LOC for this conference, Professor Dorcas Obriyabwa. Let's welcome her with a round of applause.
Thank you very much. Good morning once again. And I am co-chair for the LOC. The Dean of School of Graduate Studies is the chair for the LOC. I'm very honored this morning to introduce our keynote speaker. So today, I'm introducing to you a person I've known for decades. So our keynote speaker is Professor Ellis Owusu-Dabo. He is the immediate past Pro-Vice Chancellor of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Kumasi, and a professor of epidemiology and global health. He is a consultant public health physician and a researcher. In his previous role as Dean of the School of Public Health, Professor Owusu-Dabo saw to the introduction of new programs and growth of the school, increasing the number of Master of Public Health programs from 3 to 7. He also served as both Deputy Director and Director of the Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research into Tropical Medicine, short we say KCCR, for a period of 8 years. Professor Owusu-Dabo continues to make significant strides in securing and managing multi-million-dollar research grants from principal granting institutions such as the European Union, National Institute of Health, MasterCard Foundation, the World Bank, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, as well as many bilateral organizations. He has a wealth of experience in resource mobilization, grantmanship, research management, clinical trials, community-based research implementation, and others. His research interest lies in pandemic preparedness, epidemic-prone diseases, vaccine development, and non-communicable diseases. Currently, he leads Kenya University's African Health Collaborative, funded by the MasterCard Foundation. Professor Owusu-Dabo served as an executive steering committee chairperson of the 9 collaborating higher educational institutions in Africa and Canada. Through his leadership, over 2,000 primary health care workers across all regions of Ghana have benefited from capacity strengthening workshops, short courses, and scholarships for certificate, degree, and postgraduate programs. As an advocate for inclusive education, Professor Owusu-Dabo has led the development and implementation of 5 diploma programs specifically designed to suit persons with various forms of disability. Through his research, he has mentored over 30 young research scientists to PhD and postdoctoral positions across the globe. His exceptional support for female scientists has seen the remarkable rise of his female mentees to reputable positions in research and leadership roles at both national and international levels. I thought the females would clap. Professor Owusu-Dabo currently has over 300 scientific publications. 300 scientific publications. Over 26,000 citations, an HI index of 51, and an I-10 index of 156. If you understood what that means, really, you will be clapping very much. And this makes him one of Ghana's top 5 research scientists. Professor Owusu-Dabo is a Perelman International Scholar at the University of Pennsylvania, USA. He has traveled extensively and serves on several boards at both local and international levels, thus providing a massive network for work. His passion is in building capacities of next generation scientists and health systems to help solve Africa's health challenges through scientific innovation and research collaborations. Professor Tvucc Dabo received his PhD from the University of Nottingham, my alma mater also, so I'm happy about that, in UK. A BSc, MPH, and MBCHB from KNUST, again my alma mater. He has additional qualifications from both the Ghana and West Africa Colleges of Physicians. He is married to Joyce, with whom they have 3 boys, and he fellowships with the Assemblies of God Church, Ghana. Please help me to welcome our keynote speaker, Professor Tvucc Dabo.
Second, sir. I would ask that our dignitaries upstage would take up the seats on the front row so that we can equally witness the presentation that is just about to be done. Thank you.
Whilst our dignitaries are taking their seats, you know, when Professor Obriabua was giving the citations, the H indexes and the items, you know, if you don't understand, obviously you don't understand. And the context is that if you know, you know. Zimmerman, long ago, before the whites appeared in South Africa, we all know that the diamonds were being used as stones in catapults. So when you don't know, you don't know. And when the white came and discovered the diamonds, they had a value for diamonds. That was only a joke, and I hope you understood it. Thank you so very much, Professor Dorcas Obriabua, for that succinct introduction. Professor Chair, my good friend, Vice Chancellor of this great institution, Professor Johnson Nyako Bwampong, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Deputy Director General of the Tertiary Education Commission of our country, Members of Parliament, past Vice Chancellor, Professor Ampiagate, partner in crime. We keep meeting at such meetings. Chair of the Local Organizing Committee, Dean of School of Graduate Studies, Provosts, Deans Directors, HODs, distinguished members of convocation, researchers, postgraduate students and scholars, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. I'm a doctor, so perhaps your good morning response sounds anemic. Good morning to you all. And greetings from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and from our Vice Chancellor, Professor Mrs. Rita Akusia-Dixon. It is a privilege to be here today to speak on a topic and interest that is dear to me. And this topic is one that holds immense importance and prospects for the future of our country and the continent of Africa. Transforming communities. Postgraduate education and research for resilience and development in Africa. Postgraduate education and research are coterminous. These are coterminous domains that are not only central to the future of our universities, but to our global community as well. The two are inextricably linked in knowledge and evidence generation for community impact. Therefore, to me, this theme is rich and very timely. Professor Chair, I want to begin by expressing my deepest appreciation for the invitation to speak at this prestigious institution, known not only for her academic excellence, but also for her commitment in fostering a generation of leaders through teacher education, great thinkers, and innovators. The University of Cape Coast has long been at the forefront of education and research in Ghana, and I'm delighted to be a part of this important conversation that cuts and carves the future for research in our country. Let me be quick to add, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, however, was adjudged the best university in quality education globally. And while the debate of which university remains the best in Ghana rages on, higher education institutions are confronted with both the challenges and opportunities that are unique to the continent of Africa. From pervasive poverty to climate change and diseases, geospatial political instability to rapid technological advancement in an increasingly interconnected global community means that Africa is at the crossroads. How we navigate these challenges amidst dwindling resources for research will shape the continent's future for generations to come. Africa is home to a rapidly growing population with a youthful demography eager to contribute to her development in the future. However, this growth has not always been met with adequate investments in higher education. Postgraduate education offers an opportunity to not only address the increasing demand for skilled professionals, but also to produce transformational leaders capable of tackling Africa's most pressing challenges. I hope our leaders will see recent developments in countries in the global northwest as opportunities to look into ourselves and invest from within to support postgraduate education and research. Esteemed Professor Chair, distinguished guests, students, ladies and gentlemen, in the face of such challenges, one thing remains clear: the transformative power of education, especially postgraduate education, plays a central role in achieving resilience and development. Postgraduate education and research do not merely prepare individuals for professional careers, they equip them to become the innovators, thinkers, and leaders who will drive the future change and development of their communities and this continent. Ladies and gentlemen, postgraduate education is not merely an extension of undergraduate training or learning. It is a transformative experience that takes students beyond the classroom and allows them to engage deeply with the frontiers of knowledge. It is here, at the postgraduate level, where we begin to craft solutions to the pressing challenges of our times, from sustainable development, technological innovation, to public health, and drive social change to impact our communities. This is a place where students are nurtured into experts, leaders, and critical thinkers. Individuals who have the skills to navigate the complexities and to vision and envision those solutions in order to be able to address them. These must transcend beyond our borders. This is why a postgraduate student cannot, and I want to lay emphasis on this. This is why, as a postgraduate student, you cannot allow anybody to conceptualize your research thesis for you and write it out for you so that you can collect the degree, the paper. You cannot allow that, because the ramifications of that will come back and haunt us as a country. Even machines maintain their originality and special integrity in the face of artificial intelligence. I love the words of Benjamin Franklin, and he says, quote, "An investment in knowledge pays the best interest," end of quote. Ladies and gentlemen, what does postgraduate education have to offer? And I would like to recount a couple of those that postgraduate education has to offer. Skills development and expertise. Postgraduate education research provide advanced knowledge and skills enabling individuals to become experts in specialized fields that they can become competent at and in. Competence. For Africa, this means that individuals can contribute to sectors that are critical for development, such as healthcare, agriculture, engineering, technology, and education. By gaining high-level skills, graduates improve the quality and efficiency of their work, from managing complex projects to introducing innovative solutions that help to solve local challenges but have a global reach. I must stress that this is not simply in obtaining a paper called degree. Job creation and economic growth. Postgraduates are often in positions to create new businesses, drive entrepreneurship and job creation. In Africa, home to a young and rapidly growing population with forecasts for wealth creation, postgraduate education can help create a pipeline of qualified professionals who can stimulate job markets, especially in emerging sectors like technology, renewable energy, and finance. Additionally, the ability to create and scale local businesses helps to diversify economies, which are often too reliant on traditional industries. This is how we create resilience and agility within our communities. The word is impact. Professor Chair, community leadership and development is one of the key areas that postgraduate training offers. Postgraduate education and research can foster leaders capable of addressing community-specific challenges such as health crises, food insecurity, and infrastructural deficits, and many others. Postgraduate students must advocate for policies that promote sustainable development, poverty reduction, and social justice by utilizing the evidence generated through their postgraduate research and education. As a community leaders, they may also encourage collective action and provide the tools for others to address the local issues more effectively and efficiently. Knowledge transfer and capacity building. Universities and research institutions serve as hubs for knowledge generation, which can be shared with local communities. Postgraduate students are often expected to engage in research that will directly benefit their communities, whether it is through agricultural innovations, healthcare solutions, or environmental management strategies. Professor Chair, the knowledge transfer from academic institutions to local communities can lead to the implementation of better practices, improving both their quality of lives and sustainability. Professor Chair, postgraduate education and research provide individuals with critical thinking and analytical skills. And these skills are meant to design and implement effective public policies that will help improve governance and public policy. Many African nations experiencing rapid growth and transformation need policymakers with advanced training in governance, economics, and international relations. Addressing these key problems through research means these policymakers can develop policies that boost economic development and focus on human rights, equality, and environmental sustainability. And here, I'd like to charge the local organizing committee to, if you put my address and the Professor Chair's address together, you have a very beautiful press release after this conference, at the least. Press release. Addressing Africa's unique challenges. Professor Chair, Africa has unique challenges, therefore requiring great minds to prefer solutions. Postgraduate education often has a research focus that allows students to be able to study and develop solutions tailored to the continent's unique challenges, create Africa-centric solutions, and move us away from imported ideas that may not necessarily be as relevant, effective, or efficient. By addressing these challenges, Africa can leverage its rich natural and human resources for sustainable development and impact our communities. Ladies and gentlemen, with postgraduate education and research, Africans can contribute to the global knowledge economy. Graduates with advanced degrees can compete globally and take leadership roles in multinational organizations across the globe. This helps Africa to retain her talents and build stronger international collaborations, increase the continent's voice in global decision-making fora. Our contribution to knowledge economy is low at the moment. Professor Chair, postgraduate education and research often brings individuals into a global network of scholars, and I'm very happy that we have friends from our neighboring countries who are here. Professionals and industry leaders. African students can benefit from international exposure, learn about different approaches to problem solving, and acquire valuable contacts that can help them implement change back home. This interconnectedness also leads to cross-border collaborations that can address issues beyond one country's borders, such as regional trade, peacekeeping, and environmental conservation. While postgraduate education offers tremendous opportunities, it is not without challenges. One of the major challenges that also appears as a gap that many postgraduate programs face today is a lack of interdisciplinary opportunities. The complex problems of the modern world cannot be solved by a single discipline. We need collaborative, interdisciplinary, and multidisciplinary approaches to research. The ability to work across fields, have skills across fields, be it technology, health, economics, or the arts, will define the next generation of groundbreaking solutions. And I encourage the University of Cape Coast to explore more ways of facilitating such interdisciplinary work among postgraduate students. Furthermore, there's the need to offer support for health and well-being of our postgraduate students. The pressures of research, the deadlines, managing supervisors, and academic demands can often lead to stress and burnout. Our universities must prioritize mental health support and create an enabling environment where students feel empowered to seek for help and be able to focus on their research and postgraduate training. In this regard, fostering a supportive community of peers, accessible mentors, and willing faculty are the basic essentials. Professor Chair, the role of partnerships and collaboration cannot be overemphasized in postgraduate research and training. They play a critical role. Africa's universities and research institutions, governments, and the private sector must collaborate to ensure that their research findings are translated into real-life solutions. Partnerships between African institutions and global counterparts can also facilitate the sharing of knowledge, resources, and best practices. This calls to mind the relevance and applicability of postgraduate education. Furthermore, community involvement in research is essential. Postgraduate students and researchers must engage with the communities they aim to serve, ensuring that their work is not only relevant, but also actionable. This collaborative approach will ensure that the solutions we develop are grounded in the realities of those who benefit from them the most. The need for greater industry collaboration cannot be overemphasized. Research should not exist in an ivory tower nor the shelves. It should be connected to the rigor of prevailing industry needs and needs of society and the private sector. Postgraduate students should be encouraged to work with industry partners, employers, and stakeholders so that their research is of cutting edge and has practical applications that can solve real world problems. This alignment between academia, industry, government, and community, the so-called quadruple helix, is critical in ensuring that we make progress within our communities. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to reiterate that research is the backbone of postgraduate education and plays a pivotal role in shaping the future of Africa. Wherever you see development and it's clearly established, research and development has a correlation with economic development. When research is focused on local problems, it leads to solutions that are not only innovative but grounded in specific needs and challenges of the region. Higher education institutions like ours may need curricular review and mindset reorientation to reflect advances in technology, cutting-edge research, ensuring that students are well prepared to become future leaders. As technology, job markets, and social needs evolve, it is essential to continuously update curricula to align and make them in tandem with the evolving times. This ensures that students are equipped with the most current knowledge and skills, and importantly, the use of state-of-the-art equipment. The curriculum should prioritize the diverse needs of students, support their learning styles, and foster critical thinking, creativity, practical problem solving for community impact. Higher education institutions have an urgent need to deepen research and to make it more accessible to policymakers and local communities. By focusing on community-driven research, we can foster a culture of resilience, agility, where knowledge is used to both anticipate and respond to challenges. In this regard, the role of postgraduate students cannot be overstated. They are at the forefront of conducting research that will have long-term implications for Africa's development. Professor Chair, higher education institutions have a role to play in shaping the future leaders of our continent. They have a strong history of academic rigor and opportunities to expand postgraduate offerings, improve industry connections, increase focus on student well-being, and ensure applicability of the skills and competencies as well as the knowledge acquired. Here, higher education institutions have the potential to not only train the next generation of scholars, but also to equip them with the needed tools and mindset to tackle the most urgent problems of our time. To the postgraduate students here today, I urge you to approach your education with curiosity, resilience, and a deep sense of purpose and originality, even in the face of artificial intelligence and the many such like. You are the leaders and innovators of tomorrow, and tomorrow starts today with you and the choices you make. The knowledge you gain here will not only shape your careers, but will also contribute to the future of our economy and the global community. Prof. Chair, I shall conclude by saying that the future of Africa lies in the hands of the next generation of scholars, researchers, and leaders. Investing in postgraduate education and research can build the foundation for a more resilient and prosperous continent of Africa. However, this will require a concerted effort of investment in postgraduate training and education to increase both the quality and quantity, foster collaboration, and a commitment that ensures that the culture of research and innovation transcends national borders. Professor Chair, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let us commit to supporting the transformative potential of postgraduate education and research and work together to address the challenges and opportunities that will define Africa's future. And I believe that together we can create a more resilient, equitable, and sustainable development for our continent. As I conclude, I want to leave you with a thought. Education is the vehicle of change, but research is the engine that drives this process. Africa is looking to us, the postgraduate students and researchers of higher education institutions, to find answers to the challenges that confront us today, and the many others that are unknown but could be forecasted for the future. I challenge you to brighten the corner where you are, because you cannot afford to fail the next generation, not least when you have been trained by this formidable institution called University of Cape Coast. You cannot fail. Let us continue to push the boundaries of knowledge, to collaborate across disciplines, and to remain committed to the pursuit of excellence. And together, we can ensure that postgraduate education and research at the University of Cape Coast and in our higher education institutions continue to play a pivotal role in shaping a brighter, more sustainable future for our communities. Long live our community of research citizens. Viva academia. Long live the quest for knowledge and evidence generation. Long live our motherland. And I thank you for your kind attention. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Prof. A better round of applause for him. Let's applaud him whilst he takes his seat. So we'll be treated to a cultural performance, after which we're going to have our panel discussion. And then we would have time for some questions to be posed and answers given to them. Let's welcome the cultural troupe, please. Thank you. Right, a round of applause for our dancers from the Department of Music. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our expert panel discussion, which will be on the theme for this conference, Transforming Communities, Postgraduate Education and Research for Resilience and Development in Africa. Help me introduce, welcome your moderator for this session, Professor Daniel Ejapon, Director of Academic Planning and Quality Assurance here at UCC. A warm round of applause for Professor Ejapon whilst he takes over.
I have to call them right. So, good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much. And I believe you are going to give me your maximum cooperation to get this thing done ASAP. I've just been informed that I need to work within my time. And so first of all, I would invite the experts who have been called to join me here in this discussion. I will start first of all with Professor Mrs. Sarah Dakwa. So as she comes up, she is a professor of food science at the Department of Vocational and Technical Education here at the University of Cape Coast. And she's currently the Dean of School of Graduate Studies. You could do it better, please? I didn't hear that. Prof, you are welcome. And then also help me welcome Professor Joseph Gati Ampia. Oh, please do it better. Please do it better. Professor Joseph Gati Ampia is also the former Vice Chancellor at the University of Cape Coast. Please do it better. Do it better. Do it better. Thank you so much. And then again, help me welcome, is it Surveyor Professor Emmanuel Bamfo Ejei, also an associate professor at the Cape Coast Technical University. I didn't hear the clapping. Thank you so much. And then last but not the least, Professor Dorcas Osei Safo. Please, let's do it better. She is an associate professor at the University of Ghana Department of Chemistry. Please, let's do it better as we welcome them. Thank you so much. So, colleagues, you are welcome. And I've just been told that our time is very much limited, and so I need to really go straight to business. Now, the subject we are supposed to be talking about this morning is transforming communities, postgraduate education, and research for resilience and development in Africa. And I think that we have all heard what the keynote actually said concerning how our postgraduate education is supposed to be, the role they are supposed to play, the contribution they are supposed to make to the development of not just Ghana, but the countries across the region and indeed at the global level. So because of the time, I'll move straight ahead for us to discuss business. So the first question I'm going to ask, or the first point of our discussion, would go for everyone. And I would ask that we are quite brief, so that we'll be able to also eventually ask our audience to join. Now, I think in the second part of our questions, I would also introduce a little bit our respective backgrounds and what we do. So the first issue, or the first question I want to start with, and this for everybody, is how can postgraduate education and research be leveraged to address Africa's pressing socio-economic challenges in ways that directly impact our local communities. So I will start from you, first of all, Professor Mrs. Sarah Dakwa. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. And good morning to everyone.
Prof, I didn't hear the good morning. Prof, say it again.
Good morning to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, when I got the invite and I was reading, I was trying to put my thoughts together. I was thinking of the difference between undergraduate projects that we usually do when we are at the undergraduate level, and then when we get to the graduate level, what our professors, lecturers tell us. At this point, it's not just trying to fill a gap, go and read about something, go and pick someone's work, and think you can add something small to it. But this time, it's about capacity building, about learning more about research methodologies, how to analyze your work, how to get engaged with community-based research. So when the keynote speaker was presenting, I was thinking, how come the ideas he's putting up are the same ideas that came into my mind as I was trying to research? So yes, at this point, it's not just taking any topic. I liked it when he said, do not wait for someone to conceptualize your topic for you. It is time to do some critical thinking, deep thinking, look around your communities, get engaged with others in the communities, industry, academia industry, all those things, so that at least whatever you are working on as your research will be something that can be practical, that can be implied, and that can bring solutions to the problems we have in our communities.
Thank you, Prof.
Do I have more time, or it's okay?
Yeah, the same question goes to Professor Gatiampia. How can postgraduate education and research be leveraged to address Africa's pressing socio-economic challenges in a way that directly impacts local community, with emphasis on local community?
Thank you very much. If I'm talking too long, then you stop me. Really, yes. The postgraduate research and education, they are powerful tools to effectively address Africa's economic challenges. But for us to maximize this potential, postgraduate students must align their research with the needs of local communities. If they do not align the research to local communities, the needs of local communities, and they just sit down and pick a topic and write on it, which is really what mostly happens in many institutions, then we are not going to have any headway in effectively addressing our socioeconomic challenges. So then we need to focus on applied research. Many people do research for its own sake, and then afterwards they collect their certificates, and that is the end of the story. Then we...
Our technical people, please help us. Okay. Okay. Prof, maybe try this one first. I try to fix that.
Hello, yeah. So the focus should be on applied research that tackles real-world issues. For example, agriculture, health, education, technology, etc. To be able to do this, postgraduate students must be embedded directly in communities to ensure that their research is practical and impactful. Many of the research we do, we do not take the community into consideration at all. We just get our topic and write, and our lecturers will then read and then say that it is fine. It doesn't address any community needs at all. But then it means that if we're going to look at communities and we're going to do impactful research which is applied, then cost is an important component. But then who bears the cost? Because the amount of money that the students get to be able to do their research is so small that if you're going to be in a community and work towards improvement in community needs, somebody must bear the cost. And for me, government must play a key role in this. Government does not really fund students' research to any appreciable level. So funding, therefore, mostly may come from elsewhere, either from your own pocket, from the very little that you are giving, or some other people who have interest in something related to your community, then will have to fund their research. In doing that, then they have to call the shots. They have to tell you what to do. They have to tell you what kind of samples you must look at, and so on and so forth. So it defeats the whole purpose, and that is a big challenge for us. It's a big challenge for us. I think also that universities must establish robust partnerships with industry, with the government itself, NGOs, etc., creating an ecosystem that rapidly applies research innovations for real-world impacts. I've seen that our communities, we do not engage with them at all. They happen to be around us. There isn't much we do in terms of researching into their needs. And that is a problem. And that relationship with industry, with government, NGOs, they are very weak. Very, very weak. And so that is it. In that case, I think that partnerships with industry is important. We should be looking at this. Government, NGOs. And then the universities must take partnerships seriously. Because most of our research we do is personal. It's very, very personal. And then it means that we only get the certificate and take it away. There is no impact.
Thank you very much. So thank you very much. I think you have heard from my senior colleagues earlier. I will not want to reiterate the points which they have indicated, but where I want to focus more is on indigenous knowledge transfer. And usually when it comes to our postgraduate education, as our keynote speaker indicated, research is the engine. And that is where we would want to see how do we incorporate the community leaders into our research pattern. For example, we saw the cultural display here, and I was asking who are these, and they said they are from the department from music or so from UCC. So my issue is that do we have any traditional leader formally part of the faculty, even though we might be looking at controller, payment and those things, but this is where we need them so that they are also seen as part of developing our mindset when it comes to this. That is one. Two, we are also looking at issues regarding funding, as Prof. Gadi indicated about cost. I was just going through the World Bank report, and it is interesting to note that among the sub-Saharan countries within sub-Saharan Africa, some data indicated that we are doing around 0.5%. And usually globally, at the average, it's supposed to be 1.7% of gross domestic research development in terms of how we see research to be the engine. And interestingly, West Africa was not in the top list of 5. We had Egypt, South Africa, Kenya, Rwanda in there. And this were doing even around less than 1%, about 0.8 to 0.7%. The latest report that I had from World Bank, I don't know why World Bank had to indicate that Ghana, as of 2010, we're having 0.38%, meaning that after 2010, does it mean that we have not been getting any research funding in that level? Because in other countries, we are seeing some latest report of 2020, 2022, but Ghana was 2010. That tells us the importance of how we place research into it. And this is also affecting our productivity level of our students. Because at the end of the day, when you travel elsewhere in other countries, you see that we are far behind. Why? Because what we are producing with our postgraduate output, they are not, getting the impact that is needed. So there's a need for that, collaboration from government to see it as the need that if they want to see the needed growth in our various communities, then they need to invest in postgraduate education so that our students can come out and be giving us good research output that will solve our problems. For example, the COVID. I think we are glad that University of Ghana did well in terms of the COVID issue, but mostly it was from the European area or the United States that students had to research and find solutions to this. Why is it that we are not finding solutions? KNUST also did a similar issue in that regard. This is where we need, when we are funded, when there's appropriate funding for that, definitely we will get the needed impact in this regard. So with that of funding and indigenous language knowledge, that is one. Then the last one is about translating our output to our local dialect. We have the SDGs of 17 goals. And I'm glad to say that my alma mater, KNUST, architect, that is Professor Asasi Opon, did a very fantastic job by using local dialect in explaining the 17 goals of the SDGs. So this is where we are lacking, and that's why our brothers in China, you see that they are advancing. Why are they advancing in technology? Because they bring this down to their language for people to understand their research output and to use it. There's a need for us to translate that. So we call it knowledge translation mechanism, where outputs are given to our mothers in the market, our fisher folks, to understand what it is so that they can also use whatever output that we have in making their productivity. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I would like to respond from a different perspective, and that's supervision and mentorship.
Okay.
Because our graduate students do not do their research in isolation. They have to be supervised, write progress reports, then finally produce their thesis, which is signed off by a main supervisor, co-supervisor, so a supervisory team. So that means we as supervisors are satisfied with the kind of research that they have done. But indeed, are we? So I would urge that we institute mentorship in our various institutions. It should be formalized so that we know the roles and responsibilities of both partners. Because when I take on a graduate student, it's like I've signed a contract with this person. I have to make sure that I have transferred the requisite knowledge skill and research skill to this person. I am available, accessible. I read the progress reports. I provide timely feedback and meaningful feedback as well for them to incorporate into their writing. But so as colleagues, are we doing that? So we have a responsibility to the kind of research that they are doing. They don't do that in isolation. It is with faculty. So once we guide them, we provide the appropriate guidance, mentorship, and supervision to make sure that the kind of research topic that they have taken to work on aligns with societal challenges, prevailing industry needs,
I believe that the outcome would impact society in a way that we all wish. And this is in addition to, of course, the funding, industry, academia, partnership, and everything else that my colleagues have said. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and a round of applause for our distinguished experts. So thank you so much for these initial remarks. So right down from funding, from engaging communities, and also the idea of mentorship and coaching. Thank you so much. I would now move more to some specific areas, and I would look at your backgrounds as well and probably ask these questions. Prof, I'm going to start with you again. So, Prof, you are the Dean of the School of Graduate Studies here at the University of Cape Coast, and of course, a distinguished scholar, also a member, a fellow of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences as well. So, what I want specifically to ask is, what policies and initiatives do you believe are necessary to enhance postgraduate education in Ghana to ensure that research directly address Africa's challenges? So here we're talking more about policies, guidelines, and initiatives. Thank you. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you. As we sat down there, I was talking to Prof, a sister, and I remember just a couple of years ago, a year or two, we met at the University of Ghana, Legon, and we got some people, Ghanaians coming from the US, and they wanted us to form a postgraduate council that will, involve all postgraduate programs from all the universities, which I felt was something, great. But after some time, I never really heard anything. So I was trying to find out from her. And it just happened that since that time, much had not been done. I think we need a national, framework, some policy on postgraduate education. Initially, like the keynote speaker mentioned, University of Cape Coast is well known for the education, but we've moved beyond that. Now we have the best medical, school in Ghana. Prof, clap for me. The best medical school in Ghana. Thank you. We have the pharmacy. We've started engineering. KNUST has always been known for engineering and others, and Legon, the other courses. Now we are all into it. I don't see the quality assurance, the measures we are putting in place, such that if someone should complete dietetics or nutrition from UCC, will they have the same quality as someone from University of Ghana, my mentor, my alma mater, or KNUST, UDS? So it is something that I think will really help. I know GTech looks at the programs, etc. I don't think they really have the time to sit down and see the differences and the efforts that we can all. So if there's a framework, if there are policies that guide postgraduate education, and for all the courses that we do, I believe it will bring some quality such that, and even some international standards, so that our people can compete outside and inside Ghana. Thank you
so much. Thank you. This time I'll move to Prof. Osei Safo. Prof, so this is also a little bit specific, maybe in your area. So you are the Vice Dean of the School of Graduate Studies at the University of Ghana.
Immediate past.
Immediate past, okay.
Thank you.
All right. And then also I see your area is chemistry and drug quality. So that you are a chemistry and drug quality expert. So the question is, based on your experience, also especially at the graduate school, what structural improvements can be made to postgraduate education to better equip students for research that translates into, social benefit? I would also urge that you also focus a little bit also in the area of chemistry and also in the sciences as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So regarding the structural improvements, so we are looking at a case where students do research, not for doing research sake, but doing research in a way that impacts society. And I may consider 3 levels. So the institutional level, then the academic unit level, so that's within the institution. Then the personal level. So this is for the students themselves. And I'll start with that. So students, when you sign up to do graduate school, I would encourage you to be committed to the course. Make time and submit yourself to supervision. Because on paper, you may be there as full-time, but in practice, you are part-time. When your supervisors are looking for you, you are not available. Okay, so that is, and I'm being brief. So this is at the personal level. Once you sign up, show up and remain committed. At the academic unit level, this is where the programs that the academic units develop must be aligned with the prevailing industry needs and societal challenges. So we should make sure that we develop programs that will impact society. And we can do this with the academia-industry partnership and also community engagement. Once we have such programs, we should ensure, and at the academic unit level, again, this is where the supervisors or the mentors come in. You ensure that the topics that students are going to conduct their research on will impact society. Once we do that, at least we'll be able to see some of the results that we expect. And the last is the institutional level. There must be rules and guidelines that guide graduate studies in general. We should have access to funding, the equipment, so the research infrastructure that students need, IT support, library, creating an enabling environment for the students to thrive. And I would add the mental health issue that the keynote speaker mentioned. So institutions should ensure that there's a unit that also takes care of the students' well-being. And with these structural improvements, I believe that we can deliver research results that would impact us positively. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Prof. Osei Safo is a fellow of the Women for Africa Foundation and the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences. We can do it better for her, please. Prof. Joseph Gatiampia. Prof, you are the former Vice Chancellor of you were a former Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, and also an expert in the area of science education and science education and educational access expert, as we have indicated. Prof, you have served as a Vice Chancellor of the university. So the question is, what reforms would you recommend for universities to enhance the role of postgraduate education in solving Africa's socio-economic challenges and improving research output? I would also ask that you tilt a bit towards also education, as a discipline. Prof.
Thank you very much. And because of time constraints, I will suggest 4 reforms. Okay. The first one, the keynote speaker said something about it. Capacity building and skills development. Really important. Universities should revise their postgraduate curriculum. It should be revised. I've seen many of them. They're all straightforward, similar to undergraduate work. And I think that we should do better so that we emphasize transferable skills, leadership, project management, entrepreneurship. If we're going to do research that will make impact, definitely we should go beyond what we did in the first degree. We should be looking at leadership, project management, entrepreneurship, alongside the academic competencies. So let us look at our curricula across the universities. That's number one. So that is a part of it. The second part of it is that the departments, the schools, the faculties, colleges, whatever obtains in those universities, should regularly host workshops and seminars. I hear my colleagues saying that if you are looking for the students know where to be found. Yes. So how do you host seminars and workshops for them when they are permanently working at their workplaces and pretending that they are doing a 3-year or 4-year program, which is full-time? This is an issue that we need to confront. So I would suggest departments must do more, faculties must do more, schools and colleges, they must do more. And then if we do this, we'll be addressing practical professional skills required to manage and implement impactful research. 2, effective dissemination, advocacy, and sensitization. This is missing in the way we want to do our research and get impact. Universities will implement structured dissemination strategies to ensure findings reach policymakers and communities. Most of the research that we do, afterwards, they are on the shelves. They are in the university library. You think the community will come and read the things in the university library? Or you think that those in government who shape policy will come to the university library to find out? No. So this is something that we should be doing, structured dissemination. But we don't make it as part of the research the students are doing. The university should train postgraduate students in advocacy and sensitization skills, enabling effective communication of research impacts to diverse stakeholders. And I think that the School of Graduate Studies should play a key role in this. The students just come and defend their thesis. That's all. Dissemination to other publics, no. And I think that it is not good enough. 3 is enhancing research funding and resources. And I think that you've talked about it. Madam Professor in chemistry talked about it. Also talked about it. We should improve access to advanced research facilities. Some universities, you go and look at the facilities that they have for research. It's not good enough. So I think that this is an area, and then digital infrastructure, ensuring that postgraduate students can engage in high quality, globally competitive research. This is extremely important. The last part of it is about industry, government, and NGO partnerships. And I think that I talked about it. We should try as much as possible to establish strategic alliances with external stakeholders and create opportunities for our students. I think that it costs money to do dissemination, which we should be doing. It costs money to do advocacy, which we should be doing. It costs money to do sensitization. I think that we should train the people, we should find the funds to be able to do that. I have done some sensitizations before, I've done some advocacies before, disseminations. But it costs money. We have to hire a hotel. We have to bring people in. And so on and so forth. So somebody has to fund that. You cannot just say that I'm going to talk about this topic so everybody will be running to come and listen. No. Finally, I led the CREATE project in 2026. In that project, the money allocated that project was 2.5 million pounds. Yes, 5 universities from 5 countries took part in this research. For the case of Ghana, when it came to dissemination and advocacy, we had to bring somebody from education, the Director General of Education at that time. We had to send him to Dodoa, where we were doing the dissemination. We told him that you have to be here with us for 2 days, because we are going to talk about so many things that will impact on policy. And we want you to sit down and listen. And he did. But you see, it takes money to do that. Do the students have the money to do that kind of thing? No. We must find a way, as a university, we must find a way of looking at what the students have been doing and what will impact society, and get money to disseminate this. Right. This is our responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. So just to also add that Professor Joseph Gatiampia is a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Administrators and Management Consultants, Ghana. You can do it better, please. Professor Emmanuel Banfo Ejei. Prof, the same line in terms of the way the discussion is going. You are the Dean of the School of Graduate Studies and Research at the Cape Coast Technical University. So what strategies can be implemented to strengthen postgraduate education, especially in the field of technical and vocational education? And how, so I think basically that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prof. So basically, with the Tvucc University, there is a paradigm shift from the traditional university where we move from knowledge-based to competency-based training. So basically, our master's program are quite different from that of the traditional university, even though it's a 2-year program. So we try to incorporate integrated industry knowledge collaboration in terms of design of our curriculum. So before we took our curriculum to GTEC for approval, we had inputs from the industry. For example, the Masters in Technology in Construction Management and Civil Engineering. The professional bodies of these 2 groups looked at the curriculum to also make their input what the industry needs. And that is what we incorporated to have that in place. Then in terms of even the teaching, even though to teach at the Tvucc University is similar with that of the traditional university, but emphasis was placed on professionalism, where you belong to a professional body. You are a practicing professional. So that's why you see my name, Surveyor. So definitely you should, if you are teaching construction, you should be a member of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors, where you look at what is in practice and you embed it into the teaching as well. Apart from that, we also have an internship component where they are also allowed to, go back to the industry and learn what is in the industry, so that by the time they finish their 1-year program, then they have topics that they want to research that are problem issues confronting the industry. So at the end of the day, their research becomes an applied. So there's an application to it. So the industry needs it, and so there might be funding in that regard. And that leads me to the 3rd variable, which is about sustainability of the program, where we allow the industry to come and support the research of these individuals. And because of they need it in their industry, they tend to fund it for them to also use the output as well. That is the area that we are looking at in the Tvucc universities in terms of our postgraduate research. So far, I think that has been good, and there's much progress in that and more insight. Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Prof, I want to stay with you, and I think our time is now very much constrained because we need to bring our audience into the discussion. So my second question to you is, how can postgraduate research in engineering and construction now contribute to sustainable urban development? So, and also if you can also add on in terms of infrastructure development in Africa. So in less than 2 minutes, if you can do this for us. Thank you.
Basically, I think it's all about climate change, how our burden also supports issues with climate change so that it doesn't emit so much, gas into the air and deplete our ozone layer. So that deals with green burden. For example, let me just, since most of us might not be in that discipline, this burden is not a certified green burden in the sense that it doesn't allow natural ventilation to come into this burden. This burden, all the windows are closed because of the air condition. The windows are not louver blades. They are sliding windows and admit 50% of air into the burden. And most of us go for this type of things in Africa because of the beauty, but we don't look at the impact to our health. So starting from sustainability, we'll be looking at our design, mindset from the architect, from even the client. At times the architect can say, let's use louver blades. The university will say, no, I want it to be beautiful. Let's use sliding door or sliding window. And that is the problem that we face in Africa. Most of our buildings are not sustainable friendly. We tend to depend on artificial ventilation and artificial lighting. That is where we want to look at our education, where we train our students to use more of the local materials, refined local materials, like our Takwame buildings and those things. At times we go to the village, we want to drink water. Our grandmothers would take water from the pot. It is very cold. But yeah, you need to understand the science behind that pot. Why is it that our coconut water that we drink, even though it's in the scorching sun, we drink that coconut water and it's cool because of the material used for the coconut, the husks. So what is the science behind it? Using such materials to put up our burden so that all the time we'll become comfortable in it. That is part of the training that we are giving to our students. And we are looking at that direction. Once again, to your team, where our students will go to the community and research why is it that these buildings have this temperature compared to the concrete blocks that we use here. All these are part of the way that we educate our students so that they can become more environmental friendly. And at the end of the day, our life expectancy will also be going up. At times in Ghana, life expectancy is about 55 years. People go on pension, they spend just 1 year and they die. But when you go to Europe, those of us who want to go to London, we go to London and they stay in a brick house. Why is it that we can't have a brick burden in this auditorium? That's the question we have to ask ourselves.
Thank you. Let me go to Professor Osei-Safo. You see now, because of my time, I'm not even asking you to clap. Professor Osei-Safo, so my second question there is, given the increasing global focus on drug discovery, what opportunities exist for postgraduate research in natural product chemistry to contribute to Africa's health and pharmaceutical industries? Please, you have less than 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I would say that Africa abounds in a unique biodiversity made up of medicinal plants. We have our microbes, that's bacterial and fungal species, and then the marine invertebrates. Now, drug discovery is an expensive venture. If you take the pipeline, it may take about 10 to 15 years to put a drug on the market, and the investment more than $1 billion. So what is the low-hanging fruit for Africa? Our herbal medicine. And I would say that we should, so as chemists, plus those in the related disciplines, we should do the scientific validation of our herbal medicines to make sure that they are safe and efficacious. And then we standardize to say that take this much for this number of times a day. Once we standardize they are safe and efficacious, we are good to go. That's the message.
Thank you so much. And then let me come to surveyor, professor. Professor. You see now? Yes, I'm becoming a surveyor. Thank you. So, Professor Joseph Gatiampia, this is my second question. How can postgraduate research in education improve access, transition, and quality in African educational system, especially in the underprivileged communities? And I want to underline underprivileged communities.
Thank you very much. For example, the CREATE project in Ghana was about communities where more than half of the children do not complete primary school. More than half of the children, they don't complete primary school. So we had to research into that. So we had to generate knowledge. And then we use that knowledge to look at actions of policy and practice that would make a difference. So in our research, this is what we have to do in education. Because education is a social science area. It's a social science area. But it's an area where we want to stress on impact and therefore policy change, practice, and so on and so forth. So in that wise, I think that 3 areas that we had to focus on, they were advocacy. Okay. So in advocacy, we are trying to promote research findings to influence policy decisions, institutional practices, public opinions. When we do research and we do not do advocacy, then we don't get this done. For many students, they are not able to do the advocacy because sometimes the advocacy means that you bring people, provide them with transportation, you have to find some meals for them, and so on and so forth. But this is where we as a university, departments, School of Graduate Studies, need to come in here. Then we have dissemination, which is different from advocacy. The dissemination refers to systematic sharing of the research findings with stakeholders. This will include policymakers, so that they will make the changes, educators, academics, and then the communities. We have to do dissemination. The goal is to spread the knowledge to ensure that the research is accessible and understandable. The final one is about sensitization. This is to raise awareness and deepen understanding of specific issues uncovered by research. So the target will be stakeholders such as the teachers, the parents, the communities, the students, focusing on changing their attitudes, their beliefs, and their behaviors. And I think that if we do all these researches in our universities, and we don't do any advocacy, no dissemination, no sensitization, then I don't know what the research is for. Thank you.
Thank you. Could do it better? Thank you for that. Prof, so, Prof. Saradakwai, my second question also to you is how can postgraduate research, specifically in the area of food science and nutrition, contribute to building resilient food system in Africa, especially in the wake of climate change? 2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes.
Thank you. So I would say that in that aspect, interdisciplinary research becomes very important. As a food scientist, as a nutritionist, you are interested in the wake of climate change, climate smart foods. You may not be able to do it alone. You need the expertise of an agriculturist, to help you develop right varieties, etc. About 3 weeks ago, CSIR launched in Kumasi, they launched wheat, a variety of wheat. They partnered with an Indian associate to launch that. And it was very successful and very interesting to think of the fact that now we can grow wheat. it took a lot of research. So interdisciplinary research is very important when it comes to that. You want to look at sustainable food production. We want to look at reducing food wastage. Reducing food. I always say that sometimes we do produce, I wouldn't say enough for everyone, but what we waste is heartbreaking. And I believe that if we look at the stakeholders that Prof mentioned, and we can bring on board even our individual farmers, those who do simple, preservation, and then introduce them to and educate them in innovative processing techniques, certain strategies, we'll be able to go a long way. And by doing that and educating them, sometimes I tell people that it's not about spending too much, but about having the knowledge to know how to combine your foods so that the outcome, the nutrition outcome, will be better. So that is what I can say.
Thank you so much. And
thank you.
Please, let's do it better for them. Thank you. So I'm going to give each of you a minute. If there are any additional information that you want to provide, then afterwards I would bring our audience in. So, Prof, let me start with you.
Thank you. I wanted to say something little about the funding that my colleagues mentioned. Sometimes it is sad. My vice dean is here. We have some funding, the Emilia Brew Butler funding, to give to students. We have announced it. We have extended the deadline, and we are still not getting them to apply. So sometimes, yes, funding is an issue, but when we meet, it baffles us. We just don't understand. Just apply for it. They are not. So it comes back to the point where my sister said, once you enroll in a postgraduate program, please stay committed and focused.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that is the only way you can achieve. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to Professor Joseph Gatiampia.
Thank you very much. What I will say is this, and it's to all the postgraduate students. We must focus on what we want to do, and we must do them very well, so that there will be impact of our research. So we need to create time to do the research, and then create the time to disseminate the information and do the other things. I'll say this. Somebody told me that his lecturer asked him, why have you not been doing your work? He says, I'm busy. So he gave him a book. Go and read this book. This is a PhD student. Go and read the book. The title of the book is How Not to Get a PhD. So he told me that he read the book, and then he then knew how not to get a PhD. So he went to his supervisor and said, okay, this is the book. I have stopped the PhD. He said, I didn't say you should stop the PhD. He said, no. When I read it, I knew that I don't have time to do a PhD. So when I have time to do a PhD, I will re-enroll. Do you have time to do a PhD? Do you have time to do a master's degree? If yes, then commit to it. Thank you.
Yeah. Professor Surveyor, or Surveyor Professor.
Thank you. So I think Prof has said it all, and that is, I just want to advise students, I've seen it as well, where people have done master's program, and instead of a 2-year program, ended up 7 years. Unfortunately, some even continue and they die after 10 years without not getting the master's program. So please, as Prof has indicated, it's time. Most of the students, I realize that they are workers, and because of that, they are distracted, by that issue. My supervisor in University of Johannesburg once told me, Emmanuel, the position at your university would be there, finish your PhD, and definitely position will land on your lap. And I took his advice. And today, I don't compete with anybody. I'm quite young, but you see where my position is. So you too can also make it. Leave that position that you are looking for at your office without your qualification. When you get it, definitely you get even more positions than that in your establishment. So focus, spend some time with your work. Make sure you finish within your record time of 2 years. If you are doing PhD, at most 4 years, you should finish your PhD. You should not be on a PhD on 10 years basis. That is not productivity enough. And I pray that you all finish at the record time.
Amen. Yes, Prof.
Yes, I think my colleagues have said it all, but let me ask. So, postgraduate students, why need the mobaha? Why need the mobaha? So, once you have signed up, show up, stay committed and focused, and take a moment also to enjoy the journey. Create memories so that when you are done and you look back, at least there'll be something to smile at. I wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And this is a very good time to bring our audience in. We have a couple of minutes for questions and clarifications. So if there are any, if there are any, yes, I see 1, 2. Please keep your numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in front here. And so let's do the first 5 from this side. And then afterwards, we move to that side. Please let your questions be very brief. Don't give us any long backgrounds. Please go straight to the questions, please. Yeah, so, you can start from there, but you have to send it also to the back.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Moderator, and thank you, panel members, for digesting the topic. I have questions for all the panel members. First one goes to Prof. Dean. In fact, Prof. mentioned some point which touched my heart, and I felt that was the message I was looking for. And that forms on postgraduate council and quality assurance in our universities. So, Prof, the question is, do you have, what is your perspective of including postgraduate students on these boards, if they exist? Especially, I know some institutions, even University of Cape Coast has some boards, graduate boards, academic boards in our universities that primarily talks about postgraduate education. What is your view on making sure postgraduate students are part of this quality assurance institutions? To Prof. Dorcas, you talked about supervision and commitment. Supervision at the side of the institutional level, commitment for individual level. How many number of students could a supervisor possibly effectively manage in the journey of a postgraduate study? And what capacity do supervisors have to ensure postgraduate students have the mental health to conduct research? Prof, former VC, you mentioned research dissemination, advocacy, implementation, and research infrastructure. May I take your view on universities having research support centers for postgraduate research? For instance, if we can have a building, so to speak, that when you enter as a postgraduate student, you can virtually have access to everything, including research tools, research equipment, test laboratories, and all that. But let me finalize the last to Prof. Surveyor. Prof. Surveyor, you mentioned that postgraduate students in your school have some form of practical incentive services. Can you share practical experiences of how your institutions do that? Thank you.
So we would now, because of the time, we will now have to limit our questions to one. After the, during the break, I think, these experts will be around so you can interact more. I'm also going to encourage those who have questions, if they can also come forward. That would be great, so that we save the time of having to move to send you the microphones. So please, if you can quickly come forward. Thank you so much. Thank you. But these were 5 questions, so I think we could start responding to them whilst we wait for. So maybe. Yeah.
Thank you. Are you listening? Okay, so you wanted to find out whether we have some of these boards in our individual universities, and why, or looking forward to graduate students serving on some of these boards. Did I get you right? Okay, thank you. When it comes to that, at the University of Cape Coast, we have the board of the School of Graduate Studies. Some of these boards are mandatory boards in our statutes. The discussions we hold at this level, I'm not sure we need graduate students there. We have graduate coordinators at the various levels, faculty, departments, etc. If that is what you're anticipating that you want to be part, maybe it could be something we could look at in the future. But for the statutory boards, I don't think at this point we need graduate students there. So that's the little I can say. Thank you.
Thank you. So your question is on establishing research support centers. It's a laudable idea. I'm wondering whether you really go there. Yes, I don't know whether you go there. You have a library. You can access a library even online. Rarely do many students do that. So I am really wondering whether if we give you one, you will make use of it. When I was Dean Faculty of Education years ago, I established the Educational Research and Documentation Center, where we have all research done by people in Ghana, especially in our university, are supposed to be there, and then there's a person from the library who was in charge of it. But really, the students go there to even look at what is in there for them. So the problem is that we can establish something like that, because sometimes you need support from others in doing analysis or whatever it is, or a place where somebody can also advise you about things that you should do. But as well, this will not become a white elephant, because what I established as EDU, today it doesn't exist any longer. So you are right in saying we need it, but maybe you want it, but you don't need it.
Also, my question was about how do we incorporate the practicals in it in terms of the students who are learning. Apart from the teaching where we teach or lecture and relate samples from the industry, the students too on vacation are also placed in some industry. If it is construction, they are placed there to observe, learn some of the challenges that are confronting there. And with that, because they are coming back from the industry, they have a fair idea of what is the problem and what they have to research into, so that at the end of the day, what they are researching will be useful to the industry. So that's what we do there. With our undergraduate program, for them, it is part of the semester course. So for example, in their 3rd year, in 2nd semester, they are allowed to go to the industry where they will not be in the classroom. So based on the experience that they get from there, they also come back in their fourth year, and they do their research based on the industry problems that they observe there. So this is what we do at the Tvucc University. Thank you.
Thank you. So regarding the number of students a supervisor can have, so per the University of Ghana guidelines, a maximum of 5 at any point in time where you are the PI or the main supervisor, so that you can have time to go around. In terms of the mental health capacity, it depends on the person, that's the supervisor. If you're able to cope, handling your students, fair enough. If not, there's a center you can refer a student to for additional support. Thank you.
Yes, please. Thank you very much. So my question is a general one. With our, for example, those of us doing masters, we believe that it's 2-year program. But then I'm in my second year, first semester, and I don't even have my result for my first semester level, first year result. So now with what Prof said, if I want to apply for this grant, I need this result to calculate my CGPA, to enable me to apply for this grant. But then you do your work, we don't even have, we've still not been able to even do our proposal defenses. So how are we going to be enabled to then go forward to register for this grant? So that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Abdul Karim Tvucc from Tvucc department. Please, my question is, it was talked about, but then I was not too satisfied. I still want the expertise and then the policymakers who are around to help us see how we can all come together. We have a whole lot of people who are interested to enroll up to the master's and PhD level to study and impact society. Now, I have work that I'm doing that brings food to my table. At a point in time that I'm studying, I also need to work. How would government or employers and the institutions collaborate to make this study friendly so that our work would not be an impediment to the learning process? Because time and age, things have been made so flexible, and then I think we can still have our learning going without the work being an obstacle.
All right, Prof. My name is Kwame Asari. My question goes to Professor Ampiagati. When you were giving the recommendation, you said that the university should focus on, if it's a full-time master program, we should focus on that. My question is very simple. And in a situation where we have in Ghana here, where students have to almost like 100% fund his school fees, what is the university putting together to make sure that when you enroll as a full student, you are going to get all the benefits like the Global North gets in terms of scholarship? Because, for instance, when I was doing my PhD, my funding and everything in terms of my living expenses and everything was covered. And so I didn't have to do any work. I just have to wake up and go to a lab and go to the classroom. So what is the university putting together to ensure that we can have a full...
All right. Okay. My question is on data sharing. Given that you all talked about how we can help the rural communities in our research, my question is, those that go to the field and go and collect data at the end of the day, do their primary studies and so on, what is the university doing to provide a platform for us to share our data so that in the next generation, people don't need to go back and collect the same data sets and they'll be able to use that data? Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. So my question has to do with, it looks like from what Prof said, mostly when you go to the library, you find on the shelf, you find thesis on the shelves. Then it looks like after postgraduate students are done, it looks like it's a trend that, oh, when you are done with your work, same is going to happen to you. You just finish your supervisor's approval of it, and then you print, and then it goes back to the library. What is the university doing about it in terms of dissemination of information? And the last one is a suggestion. So I want to suggest that with the grant and then the funding they were talking about, apart from the fact that the university or the department gives out some form of grant, I feel like the graduate school should also try and then give us something, even if some people don't get the Samuel and Emilia Brew Butler grant, there should be a different grant also for postgraduate students. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. For the person who talked about who has not yet defended a proposal, it's unfortunate. At least I'm glad and happy that I can say Tvucc. We did our proposal defense before, a long time ago. I think before Christmas or something. So we have these differences. Ideally, departments are expected to do it. But once in a while, you hear of students complaining about certain things. You hear of students complaining about results. You hear of so sometimes these ones, it's unfortunate, but they do happen. But it's not all departments. I know some departments that have completed their results and have done their defense and etc. So sometimes it goes beyond the graduate school. And we are just praying and looking forward to the day that these things will no more be an issue. Okay, thank
you. Yes, I must say that School of Graduate Studies, you must have a structure that cuts across all the departments in the university. Have a structure that cuts across. Because sometimes we give the students a latitude to do the program within a certain number of years based on their own preferences for time. For example, I taught a PhD course. I finished the course. I need to have exams for the students. They say you have to give us 2 months. We have been working at our workplace. So unless you give us 2 months, we will not do well. So they gave me the time, 14th April. When we finished this course, somewhere in February, they've given me 14th April when you come and write the exam. You see? So the problem is that if you are full-time, you are full-time. If you don't want to do full-time, you can do a part-time where you have a longer period. But I think that we must all have the same structure so that it is time for defense. It's time everybody knows that across all departments, it is time for defense. Across all departments, it's time to give the students their supervisors. Some people, they enter the second year, even the third year, they don't have a supervisor. And I think that is not good enough. We need to structure this properly.
Prof, the structure is there. The academic policy, it is there. They are not. That's the problem. The HODs who should ensure that these things are happening, they are not happening. I think you all agree with me, but it's very difficult for the dean of graduate school and the vice dean to be going around departments and say, hey, have you done your proposal defense? Why have you not done your... It is, we all have the responsibility. Sometimes you even run workshops and the HODs, they don't even show up. So it is something that we sometimes send reminders, we do all that, but it's difficult. But the structure is there. It is in the book. So please, HODs, adhere.
Yes, so you want to study and you want to work, then you should apportion your time properly. It is possible But it is very difficult. I think that many of us see it as easy, but it is very difficult. So if you are doing full-time job because you cannot leave your job, we understand. But then you must also be doing your thesis at the time that it is required of you to do it. And I think that this is where we're having the problems. Sometimes we are doing online. People are online. They only log in. You can see a certain name there. Sometimes even their phone, it is their phone. Techno 123 is their name. Okay? And then you start a discussion on a topic. And then some of them leave. See, but because the phone is still there, Techno 123 is still there, you think they are present. They've left. They've left. Then some of them will say that my internet is not working properly. And so many challenges. But the point is that if you really want to be part of the program, then you must make time for it. And I think that is where the challenge is. You have to arrange with your bosses that, can you give me space at this time to do this and that and that? And now, if you are teaching, you say that I will teach in the afternoon or I'll teach over the weekends to make up for it. Have a plan. I have done that before. When I was teaching in the secondary school, I did my master's. When I was a lecturer in the university, I did my PhD. But the point is that it is difficult. You have to make arrangements. And then you will not make any arrangements. You will not just come for the lecture. Or you will not be online. Okay? And you have all sorts of reasons for not being online. So these are problems. We must solve them ourselves and make sure that we do our work in the workplace and do our work in the university at the same time. Thank you.
Regarding the work-life balance, yes. So either you enroll on a part-time basis, or so presently I have students who are teaching, but we have a plan. I know when they are coming to the lab. So you give me a timetable because I understand the situation. So once there's a plan and we both adhere to, I think all will be well. So please have a plan and note that it's just for a period of time, a year, 2 years, and you are done. But when we have a plan, stick to it. Yeah.
The question about our research outputs ending up on the shelves. These days, since for the past 2 years or 3, we've introduced the thesis by publication. As a PhD student, you need 3 papers to graduate. As a MPhil student, you need at least 1. And people are doing it. Sometimes they'll tell you, Prof, I want to finish early. How can I publish 3 papers? A lot of people have done it. They were able to publish the 3 papers and graduated. And so please, you can structure the work such that you can even have 5 papers. All we are saying is that 3 out of the 5 should be published before you graduate. And people are making it. So please, a lot of you should look at that.
Now I'm more constrained with my time. So please, let's be very brief with the questions. Please,
Okay.
quite brief.
Thank you
Don't
very
give
much,
us any
Prof.
background, please.
Yes, so it is so obvious that the speakers are so much interested in us completing our thesis on time. But I feel that the main bottleneck is what we call the RIB.
Okay.
And over the years, a program which is supposed to be 2 years, RIB alone takes more than a year to give you the ethical clearance.
If you delay, I'll summarize for you. So you are
So
asking
I'm summarizing,
questions about IRB, that it should be quickened up. I think I see even it as more of a contribution.
Yes, so in the face of all the professors,
It should be.
we want a quick action.
Thank you
so
so
that
much.
we can finish on
Thank
time.
you so
Thank
much, IRB. Sorry, I have to do this at this time.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you, Prof.
Yes, please.
My concern is with the capacity building.
Yeah.
I heard Prof. Dean saying that we need to publish. But looking at societal problems, it is evidence that you realize that some of these top journals are not going to even accept these problems that we have locally.
Okay.
And so
with our universities, what are we doing? Are we going to be able to set up journals specifically for our local problems where we can now channel some of these issues?
Thank you so much. I see this as a recommendation. Yes. Please. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Prof.
Yes.
Please, with my questioning, sometimes, for instance, if I'm a master student, I have 1 year to complete my research.
Yes.
And if I want to do a research that solves a community problem and it will extend more than a year, where is the case I will have to pay a penalty. So is there, can there be some solutions or so that where I have to do a community problem research, there will be no penalty for me to pay?
All right, thank you. So, Dean, for you, payment of penalty. Yes, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I also want to ask, I realize that most supervisors front to the use of AI in writing academic papers or in academia in general. So I want to ask, why don't we include the ethical usage of AI in our academic writing course or in our curriculum?
Thank you. So that is also another recommendation. Thank you. Yes. Yes, please. Please. Oh, that's all. Thank you. Thank you so much. But just, I've been signaled. So 30 seconds. Please don't go beyond 30 seconds. 30 seconds. In summary, you can touch on one of the issues. 30 seconds.
Okay. So, I would say that as graduate students, we all know that in this era, graduate studies is very important. Please, as much as faculty, as much as management is working hard to help promote, do your part so that it works. Thank you.
So the last person who spoke about ethical issues in the use of AI, School of Graduate Studies, please. Let us have this done once and for all, so that all the departments are aware of this. And then students will be responsible for the things that they write. And when AI is writing for you, many of us can see that AI is writing for you. So, but we can use AI as a co-pilot to help you to do your work. And I think the School of Graduate Studies deal with this matter once and for all.
So, since we are in the 4th industrial revolution, AI has come to stay. We should not frown against AI, but as Prof said, we should be guided in the use of AI. The AI helps us to give us a guide on how to go. For example, people take almost 2 years to understand how to identify a gap in their research. The AI can guide you, but that doesn't mean that you need to follow through. It's just to tell you that's how the direction will go, and how do you develop from that by using your own originality. That is what we should be looking at. And, with all due respect, African universities, we need to embrace AI. But we should change the mindset of our students when it comes to just copying work. I think what we do is more of copying. We are not using AI to the fullest. And that is where we need to be looking at this debate. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will touch on the ethical clearance application. As far as I know, this is a committee-based exercise. So if you know when the committee is sitting, I believe this information should be somewhere when the committee is meeting. You can follow this and put in your application early so that you can get the feedback and it doesn't delay your work.
Thank you so much, Prof. And I think we can do it better for our experts, Professor Mrs. Sarah Dakwa, Professor Joseph Gatiampia, Surveyor Professor Emmanuel Bamfo-Ejei, and Professor Dokas Osei Safu. Thanks so much, and I hand over back to Akosia. Thank you.
And thank you very much, our moderator, Professor Daniel Ejapon. Let's applaud them whilst they make their way off the stage. And kindly note that we have a brief award ceremony, a very short one. I would invite our Vice Chancellor to do us the honors, presenting these awards to those who are deserving of them. And I'm going to start with our keynoter He's speaking the very first one in appreciation for his support to this and many others. We welcome Professor Ellis Owusu-Dabo, who just delivered the keynote address. He will be decorated with a stole from the University of Cape Coast. The #1 university in Ghana. Thank you very much. I'll call on Professor Mrs. Sarah Dakwa. She was a member of our panel, yes. The next is Professor Joseph Gate Ampia, former Vice Chancellor, University of Cape Coast, who was also a member of the panel. Surveyor Professor Emmanuel Bamfweje is next. Professor Dorcas Osei Safo will take the final one. Thank you very much, Prof. Let's welcome our chair to give his closing remarks, after which I'll do the acknowledgements and then we'll take good photos and we'll be done for the opening session. Let's welcome Professor Johnson Nyakubuampong back on stage.
Thank you. We are almost done, and a lot has been said. It's therefore difficult to summarize all the things that have been said. But I want to ask one question. The first question goes to the University of Cape Coast. University of Cape Coast, do you have time to run postgraduate programs, or do you have time to do postgraduate education? Then, to the students, do you have time to do postgraduate programs? It also goes to the government. Are they ready to ensure that postgraduate programs are run in the country? I'm asking all these questions to reinforce the fact that we are all involved in the postgraduate education. The University of Cape Coast has done well. Today we have brought our brother here to do a presentation to us on the topic transforming communities, postgraduate education and research for resilience and development in Africa. He has done well. He has actually emphasized the importance of postgraduate education that can lead to job creation and economic growth. That will help us to raise leaders for the community and for development. That postgraduate education is also the platform for generation of energy, transfer of knowledge, generation of knowledge and transfer of knowledge, and then capacity building. And they need to improve public policy and governance. Postgraduate education can lead to that when we have well-trained people. We now have our people in parliament everywhere, and they went through the postgraduate training. And he also talked about the gaps that he identified that need to be filled. He has done well, and our panel members have also answered many questions. But it all boils down to the fact that, are we ready to run postgraduate programs? Yeah, University of Cape Coast, we are ready. We have been able to put up this edifice. It wasn't there. It took some time before we had this structure there. We have provided some facilities, although we have not done it all. We still have some to be provided. Our faculty members are also doing their best to teach. I know there are challenges. We have put in place IRB, Institutional Review Board, to look at your proposals. We know the challenges we are facing, so this time we want to decentralize it. And we have written letters. We have written letters to all the provosts that they should set up IRB at the colleges. From there, so that they can look, because the postgraduate programs are discipline specific, so that they can look at the various proposals and also scale it up to the main IRB board for the final certificate to be issued. We have done that. If talking about providing resources, we have the library, and even in this building, we have set up the library. We have provided ICT infrastructure in this building. People don't even know that the thesis that you write and that you submit to us, they have been digitalized. And you can find it in the library when you go to the library. So the data that you collect to write your thesis, if you do it this year, next year somebody can use it as a resource for developing his or improving upon it. So that has been done. Lecturers are doing their best, but we are still urging them to make sure that they key in their results so that the students can also get complete results to apply for the grants or the funds. There are a lot more that we all need to do together. The students do have the time. Yes, you need to make time. Because in life, there's always the opportunity cost. Sometimes you need to fast or go without food to be able to achieve what you want. You cannot eat your cake and have it. So there's the need to choose between your postgraduate studies and your job. Our colleagues are also doing well. Some of them have got grants, and some of the students who are doing their postgraduate programs are being given stipends. And even with that, some of them are still struggling. So let's make sure that we prepare our minds to be able to go through the postgraduate programs. Having said this, we are all involved, and everybody plays a crucial part to ensure that our students can get the best from our universities. And they are our future leaders. If we do not give them what they need, and we give them the steer, and we all being passengers, you all know where we are going to. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Chair. Ladies and gentlemen, we've finally reached the end of the opening ceremony for the 5th International Conference of Postgraduate Studies here at the University of Cape Coast. However, all other activities scheduled for the day and then the 2 days to come would equally hold. But however, permit me to acknowledge those who have graced this occasion this morning. I'll start with our Vice Chancellor, who also chaired the opening ceremony, Professor Johnson Yakubampung. Thank you very much, sir, for being here. We also have our Pro-Vice Chancellor here, Professor Dennis Wolonyo Heto. He's been here the whole while with us. We also acknowledge our Registrar Gideon Enoch Abekwe, Esquire. Thank you for being here. To our keynoter, Professor Ellis Owusu-Dabo, we are so much indebted. Thank you for being a part of this. The applause was cold. Let's also acknowledge our former Vice Chancellor, Professor Joseph Gatti Ampia, who was a member of the panel. We have the Provost of the College of Humanities and Legal Studies here, Professor Kwame Osei-Kwarteng. Thank you for gracing the occasion. The Dean of the School of Graduate Studies, UCC, Professor Sarah Dakwa. She was also a member of the panel. She is the chair of the LOC for the 5th conference. Prof, can you give us a wave one more time? We have the Vice Dean, School of Graduate Studies, Professor Rufino Zugle. Thank you so much. Professor Augustine Oklu is Deputy Director General of GTEC. Thank you, sir, for gracing the occasion. We have Professor Dorcas Osei Safo, immediate past Vice Dean, School of Graduate Studies, University of Ghana, Legon. She was also a member of the panel. We have Professor Emmanuel Bamfwe J. Dean, SGS and Research at the Cape Coast Technical University. He was also a member of the panel. Prof, can you give us a wave for the last time? Thank you. We also have the Dean of the School of Nursing and Midwifery, Professor Ninoni. He's been here with us the whole time. Prof, give us a wave. Let's acknowledge you. Mr. Ebenezer Agre is the College Registrar for Humanities and Legal Studies, UCC. Thank you, sir, for being here. I would also acknowledge the President, Grasak UCC, Mr. Isaac Nyankop. To the moderator of our panel session, Professor Daniel Ejapong, we are thankful. Thank you so much. Professor Dorcas Obri-Yabua, co-chair LOC for this conference. Prof, give us a wave. Thank you. And to all members of the committee, we extend appreciation. And I also spotted Professor David Isuman, former VC Koforidua Technical University here. Thank you for gracing the occasion. And by this, I extend a lot of appreciation to each and every one of you who has graced this occasion. This would not have happened if you had not been here. We are grateful to all of you. So that's it. We have ended the opening session. We're going to have a photo session here, after which we would have lunch and then reconvene for the other sessions for the day. My name is Akosi Achiabiasaki. It's been a pleasure serving you. Good afternoon. So we have the photos here. I will call on our dignitaries who graced the occasion whilst we're on stage to come back on stage. I believe a few of us will be seated and the rest will go around the seats. So kindly come up stage, please. Can I get an usher up here? Can I get an usher around here? Right.